Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, Yarrow's Healing with Katie. I'm so excited again to speak with you today. I especially love the subject that I'm going to talk to you about. I'm so near and dear to my heart. So, without further ado, I would like to designate this particular episode to all of those four-legged companions out there that we have, or two-legged, or whoever you have for your animal companion out there, because they are so important to our journeys, to our paths, to adding vibrancy to our cups and our lives. And I am here today to try to help you to see those relationships with your animals or your companions, other than humans, in this world in a little bit of a different light. So I want to start with, there are two cards in this guidebook that I wanted to read you a little section off of, because it really helped me to start seeing my relationships with my animals, which we have dogs. So I have a very special spot in my heart for dogs, but I'm sure it applies to all animals that we are allowed or given the opportunity to have in our lives as we navigate through this journey. And the first one is it's about your soul family. And it asks you to remember that if you go back far enough in time, there was a point when we were all connected, where we were all one. And as time progressed and energy was released and the source was separated, we all originated from the source. So whatever form the members of your soul family take, you will recognize them because they are part of you. We know it in our hearts when we encounter a member of our soul family, even if we can't explain it. We often refer to this as the meeting of a soulmate. Remember, a soulmate can come in many guises: a lover, a friend, a parent, a child, or an animal, and turn up when you need to remember the love that you are. And how perfect is that? Like, have you ever just seen someone or seen an animal or anything out and about and just been like, oh my gosh, for some reason, I'm really drawn to them. I'm really connected to them. And you can't really explain why, because I have, to people, to animals, to everything. And it's because we recognize each other on a soul level first, and then we get to know each other on the human level or the animal level, or what level, or whatever we are. We get to know each other on those levels, but there's always that soul connection that is just so instantaneous sometimes, and it's amazing, and I love it. So I just wanted to share that here because I wanted you to understand that you can have a soulmate that is also an animal, and that relationship can be so empowering and so supportive, especially if it goes both ways, where you're both helping each other out and you're both healing each other. And then the next one I wanted to just read a little section out of is about animals themselves, about divine animals. And it says, spend time with your pet or in the company of an animal to realize that the same light that flows through you flows through all living creatures. We all create different containers for our soul experiences, depending on our individual desires and dreams. Humans experience greater contrast than animals. That is why our influence and creations are wider reaching. However, this also makes it easier for us to split and stray from our hearts. Animals reflect the divine love that we are. When we are around animals, it is easier to move into alignment, where we can be inspired to grander creations. People often believe they receive unconditional love from an animal, as an animal is more likely to be aligned with its soul instinct and doesn't need you to be different to who you are for it to feel loved. You will feel free to be who you are. When you emulate this behavior for yourself, life becomes more relaxed, loving, and our relationships will catapult to a whole new level of joy. So I wanted to share this with you guys today because I wanted you to understand how amazing and beautiful animals can be in our life and how they can add so much to our life experience. If you've been following me for any length of time, there's episodes about embracing Ella. I can't remember which podcast episode that was, but it's on my YouTube channel as well. And there's also one about the Leap of Faith puppies, which those are the two titles. So you'll be able to find it if you're looking for it. And this is how our family has received the last three puppies that we have, and how they were given to us through different spiritual means, and how they mean so much to us. And we do have a dog that we had received before that, which I do want to share her story sometime, but not at this exact moment. But for today, I wanted to mention this other special soul. And I might go into a more detailed episode about her in times to come, but I just want to start off with these couple of things because she made such a profound difference in my life in understanding how amazing and wonderful and what a big impact a dog can be in a person's life and how much they can really change your perspective. So, when I was studying for my emotion code certification, I had to do a couple of human healings and I also had to do a couple of animal healings. And my sister had this dog named Roxy. And Roxy had had a really bad experience going to get her hair and nails trimmed at one occasion. And she had such a bad experience that when my sister would go to cut her nails, she would shake uncontrollably. And she honestly was so nervous and scared once that, or a couple times actually, that she actually had accidents as she was being forced to get her nails done. And it was so hard to witness. It was just, your heart just went out to her as a pet lover. You know, you just felt so bad for her, but you knew that her nails needed to be clipped. That was healthy. They need that. So you know that your sister is trying to do her best, but her hands were tied. So, anyways, when I was working towards a certification, my sister's like, "Yeah, you can definitely try it on my dog, and I want you to focus on the area that is related to her nail clippings and why it's so traumatizing for her to get her nails done." And this was the very first time I had ever connected with an animal to do a healing. And oh my gosh, it was profound. It just opened my world up to like the possibilities that we can experience when we see and connect with our animals in that way. And through her eyes, I could see how terrified and traumatized she was by this. I don't even know how to describe. I don't know if they just didn't know what they were doing or if they just didn't care, but they really, really, really scared her for future grooming. I did this healing with her and we did a couple of them. And thankfully, over time, she got to the point where she could get her nails clipped and it was more of just like a nuisance. She didn't fight, she didn't have the shake, she didn't have any of that trauma left by the time we had finished with our healings, which was so amazing. Just fantastic to be able to heal a dog to that level or, you know, to work with them to heal themselves because I like to say that I inspire others to heal themselves. But to be a part of that was so amazing. And my sister's like, oh, she's like, she doesn't like it, but she just kind of deals with it like everyone else. So it was amazing, a profound difference. And throughout the rest of her life, I would connect with her on various different, you know, things that would pop up and illnesses as she progressed to later in life. And just seeing through the eyes of her and experiencing things with her and through her as we healed things, it was just so profound to me. And it really opened up the doors to what our relationship can be like with our animals that we have and how much we can help each other and how much we are helping each other because we are every single day. We make such a big difference. And I don't think that we realize the level that we play with each other. So I like to compare myself sometimes to a sponge because I'm so open, I'm so empathic that I just like soak up everything around me. And animals are like that as well. They're so empathic that they are brought to places to help heal and to just bring joy in and they just soak up the that energy. And that's why in my last YouTube video I was talking about how it's so important to cleanse our animals when we bring them places like that or even just on a daily basis just so they're not absorbing all of our emotions, all of our traumas and taking that into their body, which will eventually cause them illness if we don't release that. So it's so important for us to not only groom them regularly, you know, take care of them, bring them to the vet when they need to go and do that, but also to energetically clear them and to really care for them in that way and to be aware of how our energy is affecting them. That is such a huge deal because so many people get animals to be their emotional support animals, but they're not realizing that our emotions can sometimes cause them to act out, and that actually makes things worse. So they want them to help them, but sometimes their emotions are just so chaotic and so destructive that they actually cause the dog to act in behaviors that are destructive and chaotic, just because they don't know, they're responding to the energy of the human and they don't know exactly the best way to deal with those emotions. So it ends up causing more turmoil for us people instead of less, which is not what we expected. But it's just understanding the relationship that we have with our animals that's so important. And as Roxy got older, she had a couple illnesses that were just really hard on her body. And I'll never forget my mom contacting me December of, year is it? It's 2024. So it would have been December of 2022. And she said, Roxy's in the ER. They're not sure if she's going to make it. The ER techs are saying that she's not, and that your sister needs to say her goodbyes. Could you please do a healing on her? And I said, of course, I will try my best, but you know how the world works. And there's only so much that you can do when your body gets broke down to a point where you can't heal. But of course, I connected with her, and she was in the most excruciating pain. I was like brought to tears by how much pain she was in and how much she was fighting. But, I talked to her soul, and her soul's like, I want to stay. I want to get through this. I'm not ready to go yet. So, the angels and I worked on her for a while. And I remember telling my sister when it was over, we did the best that we could. Roxy wants to be here. She's fighting, but there's only so much that we can do when her body is physically failing her. So what happens is completely up to Roxy and up to her soul family and her loving, angels and guides that are able to help her. And it was so beautiful because Roxy, at the very end of that session, she winked at me. And I was like, okay, Katie, you're making this up. A dog can't wink at you, right? But she did, and it was awesome because when they made it home, because they made it home for Christmas that year, and the very first thing Roxy did when I saw her was wink at me, and I was like, oh my gosh, did that seriously just happen? She seriously winked at me. Oh my god. And then it validated the previous interaction that I had because they live in Texas, so I healed her from here in Minnesota when she was in Texas. And the very first interaction I had with her when she came to Minnesota was another wink. And it was like, oh my gosh, she made it. And she is such a fighter. I could not believe the unconditional love that she had for my sister and her family, and how much she wanted to stay, how much she wanted to come home and say goodbye to everyone else before she couldn't make it again. She knew it was her last time home. And it was just this profound experience that is giving me goosebumps right now. She's so amazing. And it really showed me what's possible when you trust and when you believe, because those texts were telling my sister that she needed to say her goodbyes, that it just wasn't going to work. But Roxy was strong, and Roxy believed, and my sister believed that she wasn't ready to go yet. And she had faith in that connection. And they had an amazing Christmas, and they made it back to Texas, and they made it a little bit longer. And then it was time for Roxy to go. And that was so hard. Roxy taught me so many things, and she was my sister's dog. So can you imagine the things that she taught her? But I would love to do an episode sometime just to talk about Roxy in more detail, to honor the soul that she was, because she was indescribable in such a short period of time. She was just so amazing. And she also taught me, it was so interesting about reincarnation during emotion code, because one of the things that you do is ask how old you were when you experienced this emotion. And she told me she was older than she was. And I was like, that's not possible for you to have been that age, because you're not even, you're only this many years old now. And her soul was like, no, I was, because what had happened was she had come to my sister as this other dog, and unfortunately had gotten ran over pretty quickly in that incarnation, and then immediately was reborn. And my sister didn't want to get another dog right away because she was really grieving the loss of that one, and she just wasn't ready. So by the time she was ready again, Roxy's soul found her way back to our farm. So it was so cool, because in Roxy's eyes, that life and the other life were completely intertwined. It was the exact same soul. She was like, nope, that was me. And that really helped me to understand about how reincarnation is real. So I mean, up to you. As I always say, take what resonates with you and leave the rest. But for me, that really helped me to understand, yeah, this is real. This really happens. Like, we've had so many dogs that are reincarnated now that I've been talking to spirit more and more and finding out, they're members of the family. They have a shorter lifespan, those containers, those dog containers, but their mission with us isn't done. So they'll come back down in a different dog form. And that's awesome and just so amazing at the possibilities of that and thinking about that. To her leaving, it it was it was difficult. It was hard because she was a big soul. She had a lot of personality and she accomplished a lot while she was here. But she's so funny because now that she's on the other side, she is having a blast accomplishing so much more. Like, she's sending my sister dogs to take care of. She's constantly showing up and checking in on us. And she actually gave me this really amazing message that I want to share with you. And I'm going to hope that I don't get like super emotional because it just touched me on such a huge, profound level. But Spirit had asked me a month or two ago to become that advocate. If you listen to my last message, I was talking to you about how Spirit had asked me a year ago to become an advocate for animals, to be their voice, to help you all understand that they are so much more than just pets, that they can be so much more to you, and they want you to see them in that way. So here I am today trying to offer you this different perspective on how much deeper your relationship with your animals can be and how much more they're aware than what you realize. And they had asked me that a year ago, and I've been trying to do it on a smaller scale, but they really want me to amp up, which is kind of part of our message that I'm going to read to you. But um, so I had reached out to a couple of people within the last month with that leap of faith that Spirit was challenging me to take, and I have asked them, hey, can I do a healing on your animal? And then I would also like to get a communication from them that I could give to you, so that way you could always have that. And I just want you to give me feedback on what you think, and if you think it's valuable, like how you felt it was, if you felt like it resonated or not. Just trying to build up that little perspective, because I do want to add that service to my website, and I was just trying to feel it out and just play with it and test it a little bit first. And I had such amazing results, and people that were just like, this was so awesome, I really appreciated this, this resonated so much, and it just added an extra layer to our relationship, which is just awesome. I love that. That's my goal to do. But one of those animals that I had reached out to was a horse that I thought was going to stick around for a while. They were fighting a really bad arthritis in their leg, but they thought they could stay around and they wanted to try. And we did a healing, an extended healing on them, and things just weren't shaping up the way that we were hoping. And he ended up passing away recently. And that really threw me for a loop, because I was so sure after talking to him that he was going to be able to kick that. And I was like, well, maybe I shouldn't be doing that. Maybe I shouldn't be offering this service, because I do not want to give any of you false hope. If you love your animals enough to pay for a healing and to pay for communication, I didn't want to give you false hope that, yeah, they're going to make it, or, and it all boils down to, I don't have control over that. And they have somewhat control of it, but their bodies can heal so much. But at some point, there's that point where you just can't. And I will always do the best that I can do. And I know that your animals will always do the best that you can do, but sometimes it's not going to end in the way that we want to. But I'm still going to show up, and they're still going to show up, and we're going to do the best that we can every single time. And that's part of living life and going with the flow, is sometimes it will go in your favor and the next time you won't. But every single time, know that everyone involved has put everything they have into it, and they're trying their best to show up and to love you. And even if they don't make it in the physical way, they are still there. Roxy is still here. And when I was going through this moment of, oh my gosh, how can I offer a service like that when I don't know how it's going to turn out? When I tried to play God and say, yeah, it is, which was a lesson for me to be like, hey, you can only do so much, Katie. You can do your best, but you can't guarantee anything. No one can guarantee anything in this life. Life doesn't have guarantees. You're not guaranteed to live beyond this moment. No one is. And I need to remind myself of that every time I try to do a healing, is that I can do the best of my ability. Spirit's always there for me. They're always helping me. We are giving it everything. And sometimes it's not going to go our way, but it's not that we didn't try, and it's not that we care about your pets any less. It just didn't work out that time. And there's a lesson in that too. I had this amazing lesson come through, or this amazing reading come through from a deceased dog recently. And he said, part of the lesson that I wanted to leave you with, and this was a message to his owner, was that you should enjoy every moment that you have with those around you, because nothing's permanent. Nothing's going to always be the same. So people and animals are going to come and go through your life. So just enjoy them while they're there, because you never know how long you're going to be there. That was one of the lessons I wanted to leave with you. And that was so beautiful and touching, and made me want to cry, right? Because no one wants to think about their animals leaving them, but they aren't going to always physically be with us. It's just how life goes. But if you can remember to enjoy them every moment that they are, it's so, I don't know, it's just a good reminder. It's a good reminder. So anyways, back to this. I had that feeling one day, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And all of a sudden I felt this energy coming into my space, and here it was Roxy's soul. And she had this horse's soul with her, but she had a major message that she is such a big, like, she's a big soul. She's very dominating. She can really, really make her presence known. It's amazing. But she had this horse with her, and they both wanted to give me this message, because they didn't want me to stop offering this service. They didn't want me to cut myself off before I even started, because they wanted you guys to know how important animals can be, and how important that your relationships are. So I'm just going to read you what she told me, because I don't know that you'll necessarily get a lot out of it as far as like the lessons, although there might be some lessons in here for you, but I think it will show you how strong that your animal souls are, and how thoughtful they are, and how their thinking is beyond what the human mind thinks that they are. So remember, this is channeled from a dog's soul. It says, Katie, I need you to help them. All the other dogs like me, all the souls that need some assistance in their journeys, completing the task that they came here for, getting the messages across to the people that don't understand us in that way that you do. You can help us in so many different ways, Katie. You can help us clear blockages and ease them, or eliminate them completely from our bodies. But you can also help us because you are able to connect with us, to understand us on a level that no one else can, and share our messages with those we love and care about. Katie, you made such a big difference in my life. It went both ways. Because of you, I was able to heal and connect with others in much stronger ways. I was able to forgive and release my fears, for I saw in you a willingness to help others, the pure beauty and compassion human beings can have, that a few bad occurrences from some doesn't mean that all are bad. You saw me, Katie. You saw me in a way that many others couldn't even dream of connecting with an animal. You did so much for me, and by doing so, I was able and free to do so much for my family, who you knew I'd do anything for and gave all I could. But you've helped enable me to give more. Your help enabled me to rise higher. It was you and my family that didn't give up on me when everyone else would have. You both honored my wishes. You both contributed to making my story end the way that it did. It is a beautiful story, Katie, and I would be honored for you to share it. It took all of us working together, playing our parts to bring it to the end that was so beautiful and peaceful and blessed. All of us, Katie. I couldn't have done what I did without you and my family doing what they did. I'll be eternally grateful for that. Feeling so well cared for and loved and cherished is something that I will forever and remember and hold with me. She said, I needed you to understand how important you are and how much of a difference that you can make, and how the story you keep reflecting on so fondly was created in large part by your assistance. Now, Katie, I understand why you were upset over the passing of this horse. He's here with me now, and he wants to thank you for doing your best to help him. And then she passed the reins over to the horse, and I was channeling the horse here. And he says, there's nothing to be sorry about. I am safe, I am happy, and I am free. You did your best to try and help me. There wasn't anything else for you that for you to have done. I am not upset. I don't feel cheated or as if you had failed me in any way. You did more for me than I would have ever asked of you. And some things are beyond your control. That's never going to change. You aren't going to be able to save us all, but that's okay for us, as long as you remember death isn't the end for us anyways. But you can help us in so many different ways. You can give us opportunities and chances that others cannot. Please don't allow my death to stop you from making a difference in so many others' lives. I do not want that. Sorry. And that was their message for me recently. So I just wanted to share it with you so you could reflect on like how amazing the souls are that are in our animals. And these were two, one was a horse, one was a dog, but they still are souls, just like our souls are souls. They connect with us and they love us and they're willing to do everything. So make sure that you're willing to do things for them too. Make sure that you honor that relationship. And I really, really hope that this helps you to see your animals differently, because they are so much more than what I was raised to think that they were. And they really are just so invaluable. I don't know how else to say that. So let's end the session with the angel number oracle and then the how to love yourself cards. And at the end of the day, I just really, really hope that this helps you to see your animals in a different perspective, in a different way, and the different opportunities that world opens up for you. Spirit, what numbers do you want to share with the people today who are learning about how important animals can be in their lives and that relationship with that soul in those animals? What message do you feel is the best one to share with them at this time? Oh, that's awesome. Belief system. Go after what you want. Unique destiny, inspiration, talents, gifts, appreciation, and gratitude. You're blessed with talents and skills that make it easy for you to stand out from the crowd. Embrace what makes you different. That's your path to success. Your dreams will soon come true. I think for the animals, though, it's really expanding your belief system, opening up to the possibilities, and seeing how amazing that can add to your path in your life. But anyways, the number is 0110 right there. Beautiful. I love that. I love that belief system, because I know that this message is going to challenge a lot of people's belief systems. But if you can just open your mind up and just start playing with your animals in a different way, and observing them and giving them the love that they're giving you, it's profound. It's so fantastic. I love it. This one? No. This one? Yes. All right. How to love yourself card affirmation today is: I have abundance in all areas of my life. I claim abundance for myself right here and right now. I deserve to be prosperous. I deserve my good. Here you go. I have abundance in all areas of my life, especially with your animals. But I hope that this helps open and expand your awareness today. I hope that it touched you on the level that you were meant to, or if nothing else, it at least opens your mind to the possibilities that are out there. I love you all so much, and I appreciate you for tuning in today. Thank you so much. I love you, and I will talk to you again soon, hopefully. Bye.